everyone, my name is Andrew Toy, a film critic for FilmBook. Today I will be discussing the movie Godzilla, King of the Monsters, as part of the Legendary Pictures Monsterverse retrospective culminating in last weekend's release of Godzilla vs. Kong. Godzilla, King of the Monsters is written and directed by Michael Daugherty and stars Kyle Chandler, Vera Farmiga, and Millie Bobby Brown. Now I like to take a look back at a director's resume to see why they were chosen for particular films, such as giant blockbusters like this. And if you look back at Michael Daugherty, what he has done, he's directed mainly holiday horror films, like Krampus was the evil Santa Claus, I believe, which I haven't seen. And he's also done the Trick or Treat movies, Halloween films, which I haven't seen those either. But I've seen several movies that he's written, and you will likely recognize them as some of the X-Men movies he's written. He's also written Superman Returns. So he's got experience in both horror, indie, and mainstream action. And I think combining all of those elements for the next Godzilla movie, that's a really good thing. And to make it even better, this guy apparently is a die-hard Godzilla fan. And I think all three of those magical elements are going to make this into a better movie that we got last time. And I think just looking at all those as well, it's going to add a sense of fun. Something that Godzilla 2014 was sorely lacking. So yeah, if I were a movie executive, I would definitely feel very comfortable putting my money down on this guy. Now we've got Kyle Chandler joining in on the fun this time, and he is no stranger to the monsters. You'll recognize him from Super 8, and he's actually gone toe-to-toe with one of these monsters. He was in Peter Jackson's 2005 King Kong. He was the cocky young actor on the ship, if you'll remember. And if you consider Jordan Belfort a monster of sorts, Kyle Chandler was also a monster hunter in the form of FBI agent Patrick Denham in The Wolf of Wall Street, one of my favorite movies. Already at the beginning of this movie, it's lighter, it's airier, it's breezier, just by the color palette alone. There's already some great dropped lines to pull you in. Lines such as, "This thing wants to be born." You know, that's just one of those classic lines that you would expect to hear in an old 80s movie. Another line would be, "So you want to make Godzilla our pet?" "No, we would be his pets." And then you've got Kyle Chandler saying, "It's coming for food, a fight, and something more intimate." Gotta keep it child friendly, know what I'm saying? We also have something that the previous Godzilla sorely lacked. We've got a little bit of comic relief in the form of Thomas Middleditch. Now, he's not given much time to display some humor, but the little that he gives, it's fine. It's not much to judge anything off of, but at least they're giving it an honest attempt. They realized that the previous installment was lacking. They saw the void and they attempted to fill it a little bit, if not just by a couple of spoonfuls. At this point, I'll take what I could get. However, we are presented with another family drama, and this time it's Kyle Chandler. He is an estranged father, a divorcee, and he's trying to reconnect with his daughter. Hi.
I thought your head was blocking the camera.
How big do you think my head is?
It's really big. I've heard you talk.
But anyway, he's trying to reconnect with his daughter, and you'll recognize her as the bald girl from Stranger Things. I say bald girl because I'm still several seasons behind on Stranger Things. I'm assuming if I say bald girl from Stranger Things, you'll know who I'm talking about. Now, though this family drama isn't as dry as the Aaron Taylor Johnson / Bryan Cranston dynamic in Godzilla 2014, it's not much of a step up because once again, we came here to watch monsters fight, not Gilmore Girls. I love the screenshots in this movie. This movie's, it's full of posters, if you will, or GIFs or GIFs or whatever the kids are calling them nowadays. One of my favorite ones is when Godzilla is just swimming in Antarctica and just the lights are flashing and you could just see him just hulking in the water. There are some great visual shots in this movie. And I love everything about Monster Zero. He looks cool. He's really fun to watch. The three-headed monster, I love him to death. Or them, I don't know. It reminds me of the cool monster in the Disney's Hercules. He keeps slicing the heads off, and then there's two more that grow in its place. I've always loved that monster. It was always one of my favorites, and this one lives up to that. It is really, really cool. It's got that medieval dragon look mixed with this giant long-necked serpent. I love it. This movie also has a little bit of suspense thrown into it, something that Godzilla 2014 and Kong Skull Island also did not have any of. This movie, the suspense, it wasn't scary. It didn't have anticipation or anything like that. Don't get me wrong, but at least there was some moments in the movie where I was kind of wondering what was going to happen. And I really like that added element as well. That's one of my favorite emotions in a movie, is if you could get me the closer to the edge of the seat you could get me, the better off this movie's going to be. This movie at least scooched me a little bit from the back of the seat. Not much, but it tried. Now, I mentioned earlier that I liked the lighter color palette. That doesn't go throughout the whole movie, especially during the monster fight scenes. The sky lights up in crazy primary colors, yellow, blue. It's cool looking. I like it, don't get me wrong. And it makes for a really cool looking comic book. But when it's not lit up in those flashy colors, it's very dark. And it makes me wonder if this movie is only meant to be seen in a very dark theater. And if you're watching it at home, don't watch it during the daytime and don't have a light on. This has to be viewed in a very, very dark room. You know what I'd like to see? Just hear me out. As an experiment, and yes, it would be a very expensive experiment, but I honestly would like to see this kind of movie, same budget, same gigantic monsters, same, body count, buildings falling down, everything like that, except the thing you would change is the cast, and it would be led by like Will Ferrell and Jonah Hill, and it would just be this slapstick comedy up against the backdrop of this giant monster bash. That is something I would really like to see tried out. It could be a total failure, but I'd say give it a shot. I say it's only fair. We've been giving these very self-serious monster movies. Let's see a real slapsticky one. And I'm not, and like one that comes to mind is Rampage. That one wasn't even that funny. I don't even remember it trying to be funny. It was just trying to be very family friendly was the best I could give it with, I don't know. I'm talking like hardcore Anchorman, Dumb and Dumber slapstick comedy. I would just like to see how that would play out. Maybe that's a stupid idea. If it's stupid, let me know in the comments. That would actually work in the situation they give us, where Vera Farmiga goes all Thanos on us. She wants to save the world by releasing all these monsters. The idea is laughable, especially when it's not coming from like a hardened dictator. Instead, it's coming from Vera Farmiga, just this mom. I can't see just any normal average Joe citizen really contemplating the idea of releasing giant titans on the earth. It's a little laughable. I don't like that part. Get rid of it. It's not necessary. It's silly. The Rodan scene was actually great. Total destruction, CGI goodness all around, people being blown away. I love that scene. That was a lot of fun for me to watch. It did bring me back to an old 90s action flick. Anytime you could do that, you've won me over. Something else I really liked in this movie was the technology, like the helicopter / airplane hybrid. The fact that I'm calling it a airplane helicopter hybrid obviously shows that I don't have any military juices in my bones or anything like that, but I love the look of a lot of the aircraft they use. They could have gone a little bit more sci-fi. I would have not minded that at all. So that was fun. But this movie really does put me at a loss as to how I feel about it. It checks off all the boxes that a big dumb monster movie should have. The great special effects, the giant monster fight scenes. I can't figure out what's missing. Perhaps it's just not dumb enough. I don't know. Does it just take itself too seriously? And it just kind of dries up as a result? Am I just a bit too desensitized by these kinds of movies at this point? Or am I just too old? Am I just too old to love it as I did as a child with movies far inferior to this? I know growing old sucks, but now that it's playing a part in my movie enjoyment, that's taking it a step too far. I'm not liking that aspect of growing old. That's not cool at all, universe. I hate it. I can just see myself being this old, crippled, degenerate, bedridden, trying to find a good movie. Nothing's good. They don't make movies like they used to, damn it. That's gonna be sad. Look, hands down, I recommend this movie far more than Godzilla 2014, and maybe even a little bit more than Kong Skull Island. We'll see at the end of this video where I land. These movies are all good, but they're not great. They're far from great, but they're passable. At least I'm not forced to compare this movie to Parenthood like I was with Godzilla 2014. This one, at least, is a full-blown, true blue monster movie, and it's exactly what we wanted. Even though Godzilla is down for the count for most of the movie, we still get a lot of monsters to hold you over. I just wish I could say the same about the people. They don't hold you over, and I hate when we get to the people scenes. In that regard, it makes me feel like a child, because I just want to get back to the action. As I was typing up this review, I figured out what this monster movie, and many made after 1997, what they're missing. And the only way, really, to measure this is to compare it to the greats, like Jurassic Park and Alien. Arguably the greatest monster movies in the history of the universe. And to do that, you have to look at what those movies did so well. There are a lot of things that made those movies as great as they are, and they're still timeless, they're still rewatchable, but I'm just going to focus on two. One, and this is an easy one, and it really only pertains to Jurassic Park, not so much Alien, but it's the music score. You hear the Jurassic Park score, instantly you are transported into the jungles of Isla Nublar. You can smell the waves. You can hear the gentle footstep of the Brachiosaurus in the distance. You are transported to Jurassic Park as soon as you hear that music. And movies in general today don't do that. They don't bother to have a memorable, outstanding, magical score that's going to transport you into the movie. So that's one element that I think these monster movies in particular are missing. There's got to be something to pull you in, not just visually, which they have mastered, but they've got to master the art of sound as well. And the second thing is, I keep talking about how Godzilla needs comic relief, and maybe I'm wrong in saying that they need a comic relief character. Instead, they just need our regular protagonists, our regular characters, to have a little bit of comic relief in them. You think of Jurassic Park and Alien, in either of those movies, there was no character designated for the role of delivering jokes. The main characters, the protagonists, were just regular people who we related to, who happened to say and do funny things every once in a while. And the things themselves weren't that funny, they were just relatable. They were just those aha moments like, I get it, yes, I've done that, or yes, I would say or think something like that. And then they give Alan Grant a very relatable note, such as he doesn't want kids at the beginning of the movie. By the end of Jurassic Park, he has taken these two kids under his wing and he's become a surrogate father. The same with Ripley in Aliens. She is a very hardened, battle-weary woman, but when she develops this connection with Newt, then you have a connection with this character. And I understand both Godzilla movies tried this family dynamic. It just didn't work because the characters themselves weren't warm enough. They weren't funny enough. They weren't relatable enough. And with Alan Grant, Dr. Sattler, Ian Malcolm, Ripley, you don't have this convoluted backstory telling us how they got to where they are. No, they drop us where they are right here, right now, for the story that's about to be told. We meet them where they're at. Kyle Chandler is really good, as are all of his co-actors in Godzilla King of the Monsters. The problem is they're just boxed in by a stilted and unfun script. Give some quips to Kyle Chandler and you're one step closer to having an Alan Grant. Make Vera Farmiga a badass rather than an asshole, and you've got the outlines of a Ripley. Now, Alan Grant and Ripley, they're not three-dimensional characters by Charles Dickens standards, I understand that. But they're fleshed out enough for us to root for them, to laugh with them, and to enjoy the ride with. But I want to know what you think these monster movies are missing. Am I just speculating way off course here? Or am I on base? I don't know, just show me your thoughts. Write your comments below. Here's my rating. I'm going to give Godzilla King of the Monsters a 6.5 out of 10. The legendary monster movies are definitely getting better, as I gave Godzilla 2014 a 4, I gave Kong Skull Island a 6, and so now I've given this one a half point more. They all leave much to be desired, but credit where credit is due. The studio definitely tries to make good where its predecessor dropped the ball. Godzilla 2014 had a terrible lead actor and barely any monster moments. Kong Skull Island gave us more colorful characters and lightened up on the mood. And this one attempted to give us a little bit more humor, and it definitely delivered on granting us many more minutes of screen time for the monsters we came to see. So we'll see what Godzilla vs. Kong brings us. I have high hopes, high expectations, really only because I cheated and I looked to see what the reviews were, and people seem to be very positive on this movie. So I'm going to go into this one with high optimism and high excitement, since these movies do up their game with each installment. That brings us to the conclusion of my review for Godzilla, King of the Monsters. I'd like to thank you for watching. You can find more of my work at FilmBook, that's film-book.com. Just type in Andrew Toy. You'll also find more of my movie reviews on YouTube. Just check out my channel, Andrew and Sarah Beth. You can type in Should You Watch It. There's a lot of different types of videos I do there. If you liked what you've heard here during my review, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and click the bell icon so that you're instantly notified when new reviews are published. If you agree or disagree with my review, please leave your thoughts on the comment section below. Please also consider becoming one of our patrons on Patreon. The link for that is in the description below. Your support helps us to create more engaging content. Thank you for listening. I'll see you next time, and I'm going to leave you with my Godzilla roar. Here we go.